All right, we're back online. Continue with the second half of the service. We're going to read Luke 5. Can y'all keep it down up there a little bit? Luke 5. I'm going to go into the Hebrew first. Luke, the 5th chapter, first verse, Wayahaya. Wayahaya. 39 verses. So Luke 5:1, Wayahaya Ka'ashira Nada Kwak Hama 1 Ha'aim Lama Salak Lashamai Ath Dabar Ha'alahayim Wahawa'a Imad Al Yad Yum Gana Yasar. Verse 2. Waya Ra'a Shafya Anya Salak An Yawath I Madwath I'll Yad Hayam Wahada Yagyam Yatazawa Mahan Wayada Yakwa Ath Hamaka Marwath. Verse 3. Wayarad Ol Akath Mun Ha'a Nawath Ashra Haya'a Lama Salak Lasha Maiwan Waya ba kwash ba ma manwa laha wo yakwa ma ait man haya ba sha all ya hayam waya shab waya la mad ath ha'ain mathawak ha'ana ya. Verse 4. Waya ko la da bar waya amar all shamaiwan hawa la ya ka all imak ha yeah ha hayam waha war yadwa ath maka marwath yakam lataza wad. Verse 5. Waya ain shamaiwan waya amar olyawa ma wara ko hala Yalaw, Yagainawa, Wala'a, Lakadnawa, Ma'awa, Ma, Ak, Io, Paya, Dabarka, Waryad, Ath, Hama, Kama, Rath. Verse 6. Wayashaiwa, Kun, Wayala, Kadwa, Dagyam, Haraba Ma'ad Watha Kurai Maka Math Salak Maka Martham. Verse 7. Wayana Yapwa Yad O Kabaryaham Ashara Ba'ana Ya Hashana Yath Labawa'a Al Yaham Wala Iza Rum Wayaba Awa Wayama Lawa Ath Shafya Ha'ana Yawath Ai Kaya Shakwaiwa. Verse 8. Wayahaya Karawath Shemaiwan Patarwas Ath Za'ath Wayapo Laba Rakya Yahawashai Waya Amar Adanya Taza Na Ma'anya Kaya Ayash Kawata Nakya. Verse 9. Kaya Shema Hakazaya Kwa Awathwa Wa'athko Ashara Athwa Io Tazayad Hagadyam Ashara Tazadwa. Verse 10. Wakun Gum Ath Ya Iquab Wa'ath Yawakanan Banya Zabadya Ashra Haya Salakathaka Barwa Ain Shemaiwan Waya Amar Yahawashai O Shemaiwan O Thaya Ra'a Ma'aithor Tazawad Tazawad Anashim. Verse 11. Waya wa Yakwa Ath Ha'ana Yawath O Haya Bashar, Waya I Zabwa Ath Hako, Waya Lakwa Akaryawa, verse 12, Waya Haya Wathwa Ba'ath Salat Ba'akath Ha Iryam Waha Na Ayash Malah Tazara Aith Waya Ra'a Ath Yahawashai Waya Po Ayo Panyua Waya Thakanan Olyawa La Amar Adunya Thakapataz Thawa Ko Lata Nata Harnaya, verse 13. Wayasha Lak Ath Yadya Salak Yadwa Waya Gai Bawa Waya Amar Ka Pataz Anakya Tahar Wapa Tha'am Sarah Mamanwa Hatazara Aith, verse 14. Waya Ai Bawa Laba Lathya Sapar La Yash Kya Laka Salak Lak Wahara O Haka Hun Wahakwa Rab Quarabun Ayo Taha Rathka Kah Ashara Tazawa Mashah La Aidwath La Hum, verse 14. 15 Salat. Washa Maiwa Hawa Lak Hala Wak Waga Do Wayakwa Batazwa Aim Rab Lasha Mawai Wala Hara Pa Bayadwa Mathak Lawa Yahum, verse 16. Just that their infirmities. The last word is their infirmities. Mathak Lawa Yahum. Verse 16. Waya Salak Waha Wa'a Sar O Hama Dabarwath Waya Thakapo Salak Waya Thapalo. Verse. Oh, I was reading verse 16. I was reading verse 15 and oh, wait.
So you're going to 16 now. But you need to touch me.
So they messed up the
No, it didn't mess up.
Yeah, it did, because look what 15 is. 15 begins with Washamaiwa, right? And then it goes all the way to the end, and you see the colon. So 16 then begins Wahawa'a, right? And then it ends with Wayatha Palo, colon.
16 Haya.
Right.
That's 16.
But then what you see what a 17 is at the next line? Yeah, exactly. So they messed up with a
16 is Waya Haya, right? And 17. Where is 17?
So 17 should be right there on the same line as a 16.
Yes.
It should be a comma, yeah, a slash 17. So this is 17 with Wayahaya. Wayahaya, yes. That's a long verse. 17 is that long verse that goes down to 18.
Oh, 17. And it came to pass on a certain day.
Yeah, Wayahaya.
Oh,
yeah. Yes, that's 17. So 17, Wayahaya, Ba'akad, Haya Wumyum, Wahawa'a, Mala Madkan, Mala Mad, Waya Shabwa Sham, Para Washim, Wama Warrior, Hathawa Ra, Ashra, Ba'awa, Mako, Kaparia, Hagala Yo, Wama Yahawa Da, that's Judea, and Maya Hawada. Waya Roshalem in Jerusalem, Wagaba Warath, Yahweh, Haya Thar, Bawa, Larapa War. All right, verse 18 now. Pawoyim. Wait, Pawoyim. Raphael. Rapaya Allah. Rapa is heel. So that's where it's Lara Pa. Lara Pa Wa.
18 is good, right?
So 18 is good. Waha Na Nashim Nawa Shayim Ayash Bawata Wahawa'a Nakar Baryam Wayaba Kwashwa Lahabaya Awa Haba Yatha Wala Shawam La Punyawa, verse 19. Wala A Matazawa Darak Lahakana Yaswa Morab Ha'aim Wala Sala Waya Ilwa Hagagam Waya War Yadawa. What is that? Waya War Yadawa Wa'ath Irashwa Bayan Hara Aikim Latha Wak Haba Yath Lapanya Yahawashai, verse 20. Waya Ra'ah Ath Ama One Thumb Waya Amar Al Yawa Bun Adam Nasa Lakwa Laka Kata Athyaka, verse 21. Waya Kowa Hasa Waparium Wahapara Washim Lakaba Shab Maka Shabwath La Amar Maya Hawa'a Za Hama Dabar Gara Wapyam Maya Yawako Lasa Lak Katayim Mabala Aidya Ha'alahayim Labadwa, verse 22. Wayadai Hawashai Ath Maka Shab Watham Waya Ain Waya Amar Al Yaham Ma Atham Kashabyam Bala Babkam, verse 23. Ma Hawa'a Hana Quo Ha'amar Nasa Lakwa Laka Kata Athika Amar Quwum Hawa Thaha Lak, verse 24. Ak Lama Ain Thadaiwan Kaya Bun Ha'adam Yash Lawa Hasha Latan Ba'arataza Lasalak Katawa Katayim Waya Amar O Nakar Baryam Amar Anya Al Yaka Kwawum Washa Ath Irashka Walak Laka O Bayathka, verse 25. Wayama Har Wayakum La Anyaham Waya Yash Salat Waya Shah Ath Masha Shabwa Salat Masha Kabwa Laya Waya Lak Lawa O Bayathwa Maha Lo Ath Ha'alahayim, verse 26. Washama Hakaza Yakwa Ath Kalam Waya Barakwa Ath Ha'alahayim Waya Ma Lawa Yara All Waya Amarwa Kaya Napa Lawath Ra'ayanawa Haya Wam, verse 27. Waya Haya Akarya Kan Waya Taza Waya Ra'a Mawa Kas Wa Shamwa Lawyer Yawa Shab Lawyer. Who's lawyer? Who's lawyer?
Somebody else, I know.
What's lawyer? What's lawyer mean in Hebrew? All right, think about it. Yawa Shah Babayath Hamakas Waya Amar Olyawa Lakar Akaria, verse 28. Waya Izab Athako Waya Kwum Waya Lak Akaryawa, verse 29. Waya Aish Lawa Layawa Salak Lawaya Mashatha Gada Wo Baba Yahwa Wa'ain Rab Sho Mawa Kasim Waya Nashim Akarim Hayawa Masabium Imhum, verse 30. Wayala Wanwa Hasawa Parium Ashira Bahum Wahapara Washim Ayo Talama Yadyawa Waya Amarwa Lama Athum Akolium Wa Shathyam Aim Hama Wakasium Wahaka Tayam, verse 31. Waya Ain Yahawashai Waya Amar Al Yahum Habara Yayam Aya Nash Salak Ayanum Tazara Yakim Lara Pa Khiyam Hakolyam, verse 32. La'a Ba'athiyah Lakwara War Hataza the Yakim Khiyam Hakatayam Lathash Waba, verse 33. Waya Amarwa Olyawa Lama Lala Salak Thama Thalama Yadya Waya Kanan Tazamyam Haraba Waya Amariam Thaka Nawath Wagam Thalama Yadya Hapa Hapara Washim Aishim Kun Wathala Mayadyaka Akolyam wa Shathyam, verse 34. Waya Amar Olyahum Hatha Wakowa Nas Bunya Hakapa Latazawum Waha Kathun Iwad Aimhum, verse 35. Wa our lum ya wumyum ba yum wala Quack ma thumb haka thun az yataza wumwa baya wumyum hahama, verse 36. Waya the bar olyahum gum ath hama sho haza ayan ayash ma'ayla matala yath sho bagad kadash ayo Bagad Bolyawa Kaya Az Gum Hakadash Yakwarai Wagum La'atasha Wa Matala Yath Hakadash Labolwa Salat Labolyawa, verse 37. Waya Salat Wa'ayan Ayash Nathan Yayan Yayan Kadash, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Kadash by Salak Bana Adwath, Bolyum, Kaya Az, Haya Yun Hakadash, Yaba Kwai Athana Adwath, Waha Wa'a Yashapak, Wahana Adwath, Ya Dabwa, Salat, Ya Badwa. Verse 38. Ak Yathun Hayayun Hakadash Bana Adwath Kadashim wa Shad wa Shun Yashut wa Shun Yahum Yakadwa Yasha Marwa. Verse 39, last verse. Why Amar Shata Yayun Yayash Salat Yashun Ayanunwa Kapataz Iwad Ba Yayun Kadash Kaya Ya'amar Haya Shun Hawa'a Nayim Mamunwa.
Look like it's been just like look like it's gonna continue to another verse. Right?
Yeah.
They use the semicolon instead of like a period.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going through 6 chapters.
What they? No, they did the same thing with. They did the same thing with the last chapter. They just put a colon at the end. They don't like put a period. I won't be here. Next week will be Tobit. That's a you know, that's easy. That's the fun one.
I went to my lifeline on.
Oh, a lawyer.
Lawyer, yeah. All he said was he told me where was one lawyer tried from. I thought he was Judah. It's from Levi. Levi was the law. Levi.
Yeah, law. That's what Levi is. Lawyer. All right, so now let's go to Luke 5 and 1. There you go. Hey. Oh, Kanan dropped his head down. Yeah. Come on. So Luke 5 and 1, it says, and it came to pass that as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of God, he stood by the lake of Gennesaret. Right? So, you know, he's teaching, and more people pressing upon him, getting close to him, you know, wanting to touch him. Remember the storyline where the woman came and touched the hem of his garment, and he said, I felt virtue come out of me. Who was that? And the disciples is like, everybody's touching you, throwing it. How do you know? He was like, nah, there was one person who did it, right? So now you get the same circumstances. He's going around. More and more people are, he's drawing the crowd to water. And they all trying to get near him, close to him, to hear what he has to say. Verse 2. Say again? Gennesaret, that's a place within Israel, a lake, near the lake of Gennesaret. You want to look at the actual location? Now you got me. Gennesaret. So near the where the you have to know, you got to get the, if Gabar had his Bible Atlas, you know, by where the Sea of Galilee is, Gennesaret is one of the locations that's to the western part of the Sea of Galilee, like the north, somewhat the little northwest portion of it, right below where Capernaum is. So you got Jerusalem down here, and you go further up. That's where the Sea of Galilee is at. So I'm gonna read 2 again. It says, and saw 2 ships standing by the lake, but the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets. Right. So as people is waiting to hear him speak, you see 2 ships in the lake unattended because they out there dealing with their net, washing their nets out, you know, probably just came back. Verse 3, and he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people out of the ship. Right. So he's on land. He's looking. You see 2 ships. No one's in the ship. He gets on board one of them. Right. Simon and them is near dealing with their net. Simon notices them in the ship. Simon comes on. He's like, all right, can you just launch out a bit from the sea? I mean, from the shore. Right. So now as he moves out, Yahushua is teaching from the ship while everybody is still on land. Right. Remember, it says that he had the voice of many waters. Yeah, he had a loud voice. You know, remember when I first saw the clips of the old school clips of Ariel when he used to be in New York. Ariel had that back then. He had that loud voice that bellowed. It was times no microwave. I mean, there was sometimes he was on a microphone, but there was times when he wasn't on a microphone. and he had the whole block shut down, right? That was back in the day, you know, when he was in, yeah, when he was in, like, the spirit was rocking with him. So this is what, you know, Yahushua now is teaching from the ship to everybody that's on the shore, right? That's on land. Verse 4. Now, when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a drought, right? So this is not like the Sabbath day. This is like a regular day. People is walking with him, and he goes into the ship. And now they were still, you know, in shallow ground, shallow waters. Now he's like, go out further into the deep, right? And let your nets down, right? Meaning go first, you know, where you just ain't standing in the water. Now it's real deep. You got about some meters down before you see the bottom of the
It says deep right
here. Yeah, cast your ship out into the deep. Why, you didn't think they used to fish in the deep?
Yeah. I mean,
The little boat, you go out, you get the fish.
Yeah. You want to catch a lot of fish, you go further out into the deep, right?
Right.
So it says, and Simon answering him said unto him, Master, we have toiled all the night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down the net, right? So he kind of like, you know,
all night.
look, we've been out here all night. We've been out here for a while and we ain't really get nothing. So I'm letting you know so that you don't expect a lot to be caught. We done been through this. But if you saying go out, all right, we're gonna go out. We're gonna let them down, right? Verse 6. And when they had done this, it's a lot. And when they had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their net break, right? So as they now pulling it up, they got a whole lot of fish. So then there's certain parts of the net is breaking, it's ripping.
So much fish.
They had so much fish, right? Whereas before the expectation was they wasn't going to get anything because they had just come back, right? And they beckoned, verse 7, unto their partners, which were in the other ship, that they should come and help them. And they came and filled both the ships so that they began to sink, right? So now they had so much that the net broke. And then when the other ship came, they filled both ships up with fish from the one net. And then as they got the ships filled up, they began to sink because it was too much in the ship, right? Now, again, the expectation was that it wasn't going to be a lot, right? And then it became where one net filled two ships and then some. Verse 8, when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Yahushua's knees, saying, it's a lot. He fell down from Yahushua's knees, saying, depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. Right? So he didn't feel worthy to have had that happen to him. Right? He recognized instantaneously that Yahushua now is with him. And he's been hearing it, and now he's now seeing the power and the mercy and the grace that Yahushua commands, and all this is now happening, and he don't think that he's worthy enough to have this blessing to befall him or even the other shit. So he's like, listen, leave me alone. I don't want nothing bad happening to you because of me, right? I ain't right, right? Verse 9, for he was astonished, and all that were with him at the drought of the fishes which they had taken. And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Yahushua said unto Simon, fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men, right? So he's now showing them, according to his profession, that's what they were. They were fishermen. But at times, you know, sometimes you go out, you don't catch much. Sometimes you go out, you have a good day. This was like no other day. That his net filled both ships. And him now feeling humbled that he should not be in his presence, knowing who Yahushua is now, him being able to believe that he is the Christ and the anointed. You want to look for Sea of Galilee. So now Yahushua says to Simon and those that were with him, from henceforth, you're going to catch fish instead of, you're going to catch men. Same way how you now learn and catch fish, you're going to catch men in the same fashion, but through the Spirit, right? So that means you got to have bait. You got to have the right approach. You got to have perfect timing. You got to have all these things prepared, and you got to have patience as a fisherman, right? So these are the tools and the tactics that now in the Spirit, these men would have to acquire. Go to Matthew's, because it says the same thing in Matthew, the 4th chapter. (4:19). Matthew's 4:19.
That's for Luke 5 and 9.
That's for Luke 5 and 10. (4:19). Somebody read that.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 19. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
And I will make you fishers of men. You will not be casting out into the sea with your nets. You're going to be walking throughout the cities, throughout the towns, different countries, casting out your nets to catch men, right? What is leading this? Spirit of the Most High. Go to Jeremiah 16. Jeremiah 16. 16 and 14.
Who's it, 14?
16:14. 16:14 down to 16.
Jeremiah 16.
Jeremiah 16. 16th chapter, 14th verse. Arya, if you could pick that up. Baba Kushal.
Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the day comes, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So throughout the scriptures, there's always the reference point. When the Most High first made a major deliverance amongst the children of Israel coming out of the land of Egypt, you'll see that. When the Most High talks about the ones that he brought up out of Egypt, because he didn't bring everybody up out of Egypt. He brought Israel out of Egypt, right? Whole list. Go to Amos, 3rd chapter. Amos, the 3rd chapter. First verse.
Who's it, 3rd chapter?
3rd chapter. 3 and 1. Still got, you got that, Arya? Read that.
Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Right.
So the Most High is singling out Israel, and the starting point is against the whole family that I brought up out of the land of Egypt. That's the continuing theme from the Old Testament to the New Testament to the Apocrypha. It references when we came out of Egypt. So now when you go back to Jeremiah 16:14, read that again.
Therefore, behold, the day comes, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So that's not going to be said no more once this next event happens. We're not going to be talking about Egypt, ancient Egypt anymore. Read.
But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
From the land of where?
The north.
Why does it say the land of the north?
But just a future prophecy.
It says a future prophecy, but what is it talking about?
Us being ruled by America.
Us, why? Because it's North America. Now, why America? Why is it? Why does it start off with the land of the north? Because it continues as you read on. Read what you read on, Arya.
And from all the lands whither he have driven them.
So it just doesn't say. It's not just saying that only Israel is in the land of the north. Everywhere is it was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. But why is it mentioning from the land of the north? Last captivity. Come on.
That's the main one.
It's the main one that's controlling everybody.
North America.
It's something special about North America.
That's where we at.
That's where it was said.
What's the last captivity that we under?
Judah.
Judah. So when you look at our captivities, when you look at the 12 tribe sign, the thing about North America, all the tribes are here in this region, right? You have, this is the great melting pot where you have not only all the tribes of Israel, you have all the nations of the world that are being occupied in this country, in North America. Sure, they're over in these various different places, but this holds a special seat, right? This is the modern day Babylon that is talked about in Revelations, right? The land of confusion, because you have so many different religions, so many different policies, so many different philosophies, all here in this region. But specifically now, you got all the majority of all the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel being represented here. Not that they're all here, but they all have a footprint or have a place here in the land of the north. And then it says, and from all the lands where he had driven them, read.
And I will bring them again into their lands that I gave unto their fathers.
Right, to the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the promise that was made to Abraham that they was going to occupy that land, right? So they're going to, Lord is going to bring them back into that land. So then it's going to be, thus saith the Lord that liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, not Egypt no more, right? So that's the future prophecy. But before you get to that point, before the Most High comes and now that transition happens, read the 16th verse.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them.
So now the Lord says for that to happen, I got to send for many fishers. So Yahushua is now with the 12 saying, look, you ain't going to be doing that no more. I'm going to make you fishers of men, right? You now got to go out and start dropping bait, start taking your pole and throwing that fish out there into the world to catch men, right? Like the same way you catch fish, you can use a worm, you can use a little jelly thing, whatever your variety of different baits you use, figure that out and then go out there and catch men. Read.
And after will I send for many hunters.
So then after all the fish is caught, the 144,000 is that has the spirit planted in their foreheads, then the Lord is going to send for what? Hunters. And what do hunters do? Kill. Right? So the Lord then is going to send the angels out, the reapers. Right? We do not have that first authority to go out there and do any of that. Because Christ said, you don't know who's the ones that chosen or not. The reapers, the angels have that glory. They know, or else we would go like how you got camps out here right now saying, you condemned, you are antichrist, you this. They don't know who's who. The Most High Christ and the angels do. So the hunters is going to go out, which they're going to send, and they're going to start hunting, right? That's going to be right during the times of the world's war and the last day. Read.
Right. And they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rock.
Right. So the Lord is going to then go and hunt those who are part of the wicked of his people, as well as the nations. That's the prophecy, right? But right now we're in the fishing stage, right? This is the same way it was Simon and the Zebedee sons got their start to learn how to go fish. All right, so let's go back to Luke 5. Verse 10. So I'm going to read it again. It says, and so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Yahushua said unto Simon, fear not, and for henceforth thou shalt catch men. And when they had brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him. Right? So after that, what they once were doing, their ties to the world and their ties to different things, they didn't think about that anymore. Right? Go to Matthew 19. Matthew 19. And 27. Matthew's 19th chapter, the 27th verse, to link with verse 11 in Luke 5. So Luke 5 and 11 links with Matthew's 19:27. Zakar, if you could read that, Baba Kushar. Matthew's 19:27.
We have Matthew 19, 5:11. Yeah, I'm going to read Matthew 19:27.
Turn.
I was thinking about that.
Here we go, Matthew 19:27. Then answered Peter and said to him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore?
Right. So we just read it. They came back in their ships and forsook all. So now as they've been laboring with Yahushua, and they're seeing, you know, the life that they left to do the things that Yahushua bid them to do. The question was, yeah, look, what are we going to get for doing this? What's our reward? Read.
And Jesus said to them, verily I say to you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right. So when the regeneration or reincarnation, the regeneration of your spirit happens in that day, when I sit on my throne, you also going to be sitting on thrones, right? Judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
And everyone that has forsaken houses, or brethren, or sister, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake shall receive and 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life.
Right. So now when it says that they gave up all, this is what it's referencing. Right? They gave up houses, right? They didn't regard houses. They got to go labor and toil to go and buy and fix. They had other things to go do. Then it says, or brethren, while they going out doing these things like how we used to, we go out here on Sundays, you go do this on Tuesday. There's like, nah, I got to go do this work over here. Or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, right? So now you start talking about your family, right? When you're now doing this work, when you come in here and understanding what is required of you and what is not required of you, you now have to leave off some people, right? And that's a sacrifice. So the sacrifice of doing those things, what is it that we gain? The Lord said you're going to gain 100-fold and inherit everlasting life, right? Again, we went through this evening when it talks about everlasting life. Does it mean that they're going to live long? Remember, your name is what is Daniel and Noah and Abraham. They live forever, right? Because of their deeds and their actions and their words, right? It's not like Abraham never had to go through regeneration of the spirit. No, his spirit either was taken up or he died. Right. But he will live on as a righteous person in the eyes of the Most High and Yahushua, right? So now for the 12 that will do the Most High and Yahushua's work and their bidding. Remember, Judas was once for the 12. He was replaced, right? Because he gave up Yahushua. He committed suicide, died, and then now when you read in Acts, someone else filled his position. So those 12, when Yahushua comes in the last day with the angels, and all things are said and done, Satan is removed out of his dominion. Yahushua has now received the throne to be able to have it forever and ever. Now he got these 12 men that's sitting on the throne, judging the nation of Israel, right? And it's not, when it says judging the nation of Israel, it doesn't mean like they sitting in a court, right? And then they come in and hearing matters from Israel and they decide. And no, judges just mean you deciding on what things need to happen, right? That's what happens. You wake up in the morning, you make a decision on what happens. Do I get up right now? Do I go to the bathroom? Right? Do I stay here, look at my phone, look at the stuff, the news, whatever? You're just making decisions. That's what they're going to be doing. That's the judges. And then it says in verse 30.
Okay. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Right.
So those who in certain positions right now ain't going to be there in the end. Right? It can go 2-3 ways, right? When you look at those who esteem people now, they're going to be in the bottom. Even those who are leaders within Israel right now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be the leaders or the esteemed ones. You may have a young person that comes in 2 years from now, right? He could be that young Daniel, reincarnated. Now it's his time to come into the earth and now to go do that work. He may be one of those first wave of brothers to lead within the 144,000. So there's a hierarchy, just like how there's a hierarchy in the heavens. You got the 7 archangels, you got the 24 elders, you got the 4 beasts, you got Yahushua. On earth, there's going to be a hierarchy. Yahushua is going to be the king. David is going to have to have his seat. You got the 12 disciples that's there, and then. You found it?
Yeah, Gennesaret.
Gennesaret, right? Like I said, that northwest area under Capernaum.
Yeah, right next to the Sea of Galilee.
Yep. So when he went out in the deep, he went somewhere in the middle of that. Caught a lot of fish. Yahweh Kanan.
No. I was just thinking about Ezekiel 14:14.
Ezekiel 14:14.
Yeah.
What does that say?
I was just thinking about Ezekiel 14:14. Though these 3 men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, said the Lord God.
Right. So their souls, based on the work that they've done, and they called them based on what they did in that life, they would deliver their own souls, and not their children's, not their parents, right? The fathers don't suffer the sins of the sons, and the sons don't suffer the sins of the father. You are held accountable for the righteousness or the wickedness that you do. So the work that they did, they delivered their own souls. Everyone else, got to still find your way and do your part. So now let's go back to Luke 5. So verse 12. And it came to pass when he was in a certain city, behold, a man fell full of leprosy, who seeing Yahushua fell on his face and besought him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. Right? So as he's traveling, he's journeying, here comes a man full of leprosy, sees Yahushua, falls down, starts having obeisance to him. And he's like, listen, Yahushua, if you can, if you will, if your call, you can make me clean. Verse 13, and he put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately the leprosy departed from him. Right? So again, even though he said, Yahushua, if thou will, or if thou canst make me clean, it wasn't really Yahushua that made him clean. It was that man's faith that made himself clean.
That's paying out overall.
Right. Go to Luke 7:50. Luke 7:50. I'm gonna stay right in Luke. All these verses I'm gonna give is just going to be precepts. Is going to come from Luke. Luke 7:50. Right.
Genesis comes for you.
Gun.
No, so remember the movie Ben-Hur?
Uh-huh.
You know, they were looking as if people were buying up with cloth and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Have leprosy. But they're clean.
13, verse 13. So Luke 7:50 says, and he said unto the woman, thy faith hath saved thee. Go in peace. Right? So the faith of the woman had forgiven her sins. Now, go to chapter 8, verse 48. It says, and he said unto her, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace. Right? So now here's a person who had an infirmity, and her faith is what made her whole or cleansed her of her infirmity. Go to Luke 17. (17 and 19). So it says, and he said unto him, arise, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. Right? So I'm giving just the same examples. Every time it doesn't say it, that he healed this person and healed that other person, but then there's a repetition of times where he's giving you the insight of what it is. That's why we read in the last chapter, he couldn't do many works in his own town because they didn't believe. They didn't have the faith, right? Last one, 18th chapter, 42nd verse.
Same thing, man.
Luke
5:13.
5:13. Right. So we now at 18 and 42. It says, and Yahweh said unto him, receive thy sight. So it's a person that was blind. Thy faith have saved thee. Right. So again, that's the rule of thought. Right. Remembering it's your faith. You got to have that faith. You won't be healed, or you won't believe on Yahweh until you have that faith and belief. Right. Right. Now, what happens with people who get healed, who don't have the faith in Yahweh? Who's healing them? Well, they don't believe in Yahweh. The faith is what's going to get them. They ain't got the faith in Yahweh, so how they getting healed?
They get hurt. They get feather and feather.
We read it in what was we reading about in Luke, the 4th chapter? Who else does good things for certain people? Satan. I'll give you all of this. You do that. If you bow down and worship me, I give you this. Just like how, sometimes when you pray, you want to receive a good job, or you want to receive money, you want to receive certain things. Right. If you do certain things for Christ, he'll bless you when you have that. Right. Well, Satan will give you some blessings too, if you worship him. Right? Those are temporal. Those are short-lived. It comes at a cost, but he'll give it to you. So now a lot of times people are fooled by that. They'll look on TV and they'll see somebody put hands on someone. He'll get up and it was like, yo, did you see that? He healed the guy. Under the thought that because he did that, he got to be a follower of Christ. Right. But then when you look at what they teach and what they do, they don't do anything that Yahweh stood for. They don't follow in the same footsteps as the disciples or the apostles. So how is this happening? We seen all the way back during Moses' time that when Moses cast down his staff, what did Pharaoh's magicians do? Cast down their staffs too. Right. Right? At a certain point, they was going battle for battle. It was like, oh, when Moses was doing, we could do the same thing. So it's not to say that you don't have people on the left-hand side that are capable of doing certain things to deceive people through wickedness. Right. Right? But you got to try the spirit by the spirit. That miracle, that thing, okay, that's cool, but what are you teaching? What are your principles? What do you follow? What do you advocate for? right? If those things line up, then all right, cool, right? Christ said, he that is not against me is for me, right? So if you're not against, you're not teaching against what Yahweh Shai is dealing with, and you're for Yahweh Shai according to doctrine and principle, then hey, you good, right? I may not even know the brother. I'm like, oh, what is he? Oh, that's an Israelite camp. Word? Yeah, they keep the Sabbath, they keep the laws, they teach about the nation, they teach all the same thing. I'm like, oh, the Most High is dealing with that, but Yahweh Shai is dealing with that brother or sister. Yahweh Kanan.
Nothing but the scripture. Acts 19:11. Acts 19:11. And God wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul. Verse 12. So that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the diseases departed from them, and the evil spirit went out of them. Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Jesus, saying, We adjure you by Jesus whom Paul preacheth. And there were 7 sons of
Sceva,
a Jew and chief of the priests, which did so. Verse 15. And the evil spirit answered and said, Jesus I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded. Oh, so here Paul, so some men who just want to figure that they had that healing spirit also, but the spirit leapt upon them.
It wasn't that the spirit just leapt upon them. The evil spirit, like we just read in the last chapter, the evil spirits all know Yahweh Shai. The evil spirits know what's going on, right? So now they seeing these men out there, and they see this one guy, and the evil spirit speak and say, Paul, I know. Yahweh Shai, I know, but you not one of them, right? You false setting, you false claiming right now. And what happened? Then the evil spirits jumped on him. Who, this person who was doing it? Right. They weren't a part of them because they recognized, they knew, right? That's why even when they did it with Yahweh Shai was quick to say, don't say much, because this was kind of the time of them he wanted to prove the people. Like if it was an evil spirit and the evil spirit now is saying, oh yes, he is the Son of the Most High, and start explaining and confessing things. Now, people know what actions the evil spirit does. For it to be to be humbled before Yahweh Shai, to being fearful of Yahweh Shai, then Yahweh Shai tell the spirit to come out and go ahead and do that. Now people are going to start believing based on what they see because of the evil spirit. Yahweh Shai didn't want that. He didn't want to give signs and everything all the time. He wanted people to just observe what he was teaching and how he was moving and then believe. That's why he even asked the disciples, who do you say I, the Son of Man, am? You've been rolling with me for a minute now. What do you think? And he said, oh, we know that you're the Christ, right? All right, you're good, right? A lot of people don't have that opportunity. A lot of people don't have that faith. So now when you go out there and they just see Justin, oh, this is Justin. But then he out there doing the work. Others will say, that's a man of the Lord right there, right? Some will just see him as that old man. Well, others don't even care about that. They see the work that he's putting in and what he's saying and what he's doing and what he's teaching. That's when they're going to believe that this guy is a righteous man. Not just based on what somebody else said. It's the proof is in the pudding, right? We just don't always just believe everybody just because. Sometimes you'll have to see what a person's doing. Says that in the Apocrypha. Go to Ecclesiasticus, I think. Let me make sure I got it. Ecclesiasticus 27 and 7. Ecclesiasticus 27 and 7.
Page 86.
Con, Gabar, if you could read that, Baba Kushar.
You got it, young brother?
Con.
All right, Ecclesiastes 27 and 7. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak, saying, so this is the trial of men.
Right, because sometimes people just go based off of reputation of what they heard somebody else say, or based on just his appearance, right? Well, Christ says we're not supposed to judge according to the appearance.
Right.
Judge by righteous judgment, which now righteous judgments comes from the Most High's word. So then and only what you have to do now is to measure a person's actions or words against this. So you got to wait and observe a person, see what he's talking about, what he's advocating for, and say, okay, yeah, this person is all right. That's what you have all out of these debates. When politicians want to run for office, they want to set up a debate. Now's the time to throw questions at them, so I can see what policies you stand for, which ones you don't. Right? I want to see how you answer the retort and how you come back with your own new regime or new policy. So you want to hear what they're talking about first. Just because this person said, oh, I'm following him, you jump on the bandwagon. No, everybody has to be proven. So let's go back to Luke 5 and 14. So Luke 5 and 14 says, and he charged him to tell no man, but go and show thyself to the priest and offer for thy cleansing according as Moses commanded, for a testimony unto them, right? So again, don't go and blasting out everywhere. Go straight to the temple, offer up your offering, right? You read about that in Leviticus, the 14th chapter, about what his actual offering was or what needed to be done between the priest and him. But Yahushua didn't say, oh, you ain't got to do that no more. That's all. That's the Old Testament. I come to make a new thing. No, he told him to go do the same thing that was written of all the time in the law. Verse 15. But so much the more went there of fame abroad of him. So as much as he said, don't say nothing, people couldn't go, it couldn't hold it. Right? Probably on his way. Like, yo, what happened to you? Where you going? I'm going to the temple. You know, Christ, you healed me. He done healed me. I didn't even tell you what he did to that person. And then he gone and healed in the temple. And now he telling, listen, I'm cleansed. How you get cleansed? Christ. Who Christ? Joseph's son. Yeah, him. He did that, right? And it's all over the place. You know, that's still always the best marketing. Word of mouth, right? Word of mouth is the best marketing. That's like sometimes when I'm watching, if I'm on social media and I'm looking at, I don't know, some kind of a merchandise, a video or whatever, right? We know what I'm led to do? Scroll down to the bottom. I want to go and see what the comments are, what people are saying, right? I'm not physically there, but now someone has said such and such. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, whoa, man. What? The doggone thread kept coming out. Dang, what? The shirt faded. You're like, oh, man, this ain't good. Or, you know, yeah, he said that on stage, but we seen him in the back and he was doing such and such. And they got clips. You know, everybody got a phone. They got video. You're like, oh, okay. Now I get it, right? So I'm always apt to hear what the people say. All right? You want to be the people's champ.
or somebody using it or showing it.
Right.
That's why, you know, a lot of popular stuff now, people use it for gadgets. Say that, you know, use it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, I say that with a bit of caution because you got to understand how society is, right? How people are on social media, because there's a vibration in the spirit on social media. Yeah, I'm not gonna go in there and get that same type of spirit that I'm expecting. I just use it for a temperature check, right? I want to see how people are viewing it, right? That's like even Yahushua, he went out there and taught. I want to see a temperature check. How the Pharisees and them checking? Oh, they don't like it. Word, dang, they ain't rolling with this. Oh man, so now I know. You go to the Sadducees. The Sadducees ain't rolling with neither. Nah, they ain't rolling with it. But then you got some of these zealots, they're a little bit on the fence. They don't know. They trying to checking them out like, oh, word, okay. I know how I am when I'm around them. Remember, we're fishers of men. So you got to understand the type of fish you're dealing with. You got to know how they think. You throwing that bait out there and they're like, oh, I don't even like that. They going the other way. So he said, okay, now I understand their climate, you know, when they come out and feed, what they want to eat, right? How often they eat. Right? How big chunks, all of that, then you got to weigh that in mind. So now as you read on, verse 16, and he withdrew himself. Did I read all of 15? Let me read it again. But so much the more went there of fame abroad of him, and great multitudes came together to hear and to be healed by him of their infirmity, right? So a lot of times you read or you hear people always talking about, but it's the Jews that gave up Christ. The Jews is the one that gave up Christ. But as you're reading, there's a lot of people that's coming to hear him and be healed of him, right? But the narrative is always, yeah, the Jews gave up Christ. So now the Jews is disowned. When you had a lot of people that were followers of him before, well, during and after, right? Verse 16, and he withdrew himself into the wilderness and prayed, right? So at times you need some seclusion, right? So as followers of Christ, understanding how he moved, every now and again, that's what he did. He had to go have time for himself. You got to separate yourself from everything. Go and meditate and pray between you and the Most High, right? You just can't keep going and going and going and don't have that time for yourself, right? That's what he did. Sometimes he went with a couple brothers and prayed up in the mountains to just be there, and other times he just went on his own. But that should be an example and a rule of thumb that often you should pray, often you should fast, right? Amidst doing a lot of other things, you got to have that time to just sit back. It could be for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, however, it could be for a couple of hours, whatever that is. But you have that time for yourself where you just reflect, meditate, and pray, right? That's a sign, that's an example that we're getting here from Yahushua. That's what's needed. You have to do that because you got to detox sometimes. You got to be able to process all the stuff that has been going on with you throughout the day or the week. There's a lot of stuff that's been thrown at you, right? Sometimes you forget things that you need to do, but so you gotta have that time. Verse 17, and it came to pass on a certain day as he was teaching that there were Pharisees and doctors of the law sitting by, which would come out of every town of Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem. And the power of the Lord was present to heal them, right? So again, he's out on this day, he has some Pharisees and doctors of scribes in the law that was sitting by watching everything go down, right? And he got people from all over now present that day. Verse 18, and behold, men brought in a bed a man which was taken with a palsy, and they sought means to bring him in and to lay him before him, right? Because like it said in the previous verse, the power of the Lord was with them to heal them on that day. So this was a day of healing. So they had this guy who'd been in palsy for a while, and they said, listen, he's on his bed. We got to find a way to get him before Yahushua. Right. Verse 19, and when they could not find by what way they might bring him in because of the multitude, that shows you how many people is there. When you can't even find a way, it's like, excuse me, can I get by? Excuse me, can I get by? Everybody's trying to get in. Listen, you got to wait your turn. get back, right? Everybody's there. So they're like, look, we got to find a way to get this man in there, man. So they thought on another level. It says, they went upon the housetop and let him down through the tiling with his couch in the midst before Yahushua. So while everybody outside thronging to get in and they trying to get in front of him to hear what he's saying. What he said? Hold on, let me pushing closer. These guys went on the top of the doggone house. Now think about how much work that is. Yeah, to get him up there and then to make a space to lower him down in the midst of them.
Right there.
To lower him down in the midst.
Not make him drop, but lower him.
Yeah. That takes a lot, right?
A whole man to lower him down.
Because now you're looking at opportunity. Sometimes he's traveling. He's a traveling man. So you don't know if you're going to get that opportunity to be in front of Yahushua again. So I'm going to maximize my time. And he looked up like, listen, you may think this is crazy, but we're going to go through the roof. Now the man with the palsy, of course, he don't care, right? He like, whatever it is, get me in there. So then he went and thought of this and now opened up the space, now dropped him down. Now people's probably looking like, yo, what the hell? The hell is going on here? Exactly, right? So now they seeing it, and now not only are they seeing it, Yahushua seeing this too. He's probably looking up like, oh man. Wow, right? Verse 20. And when he saw their faith, he said unto him, man, thy sins are forgiven thee, right? So when he saw that, he realized, like, listen, man, these guys, to go to that length, you gotta have faith. Because normally you say, look, man, we're gonna try back tomorrow. What you doing tomorrow? I'll come by, I'll swing by and pick you up. We'll just do this tomorrow. Listen, they say ain't no better time than the present. Let's just do this now, right? So then Yahushua told him, your sins are forgiven thee. But now this verse is something in this verse that we use for something else. It's that man, because that's, yeah, if you look at, yeah, you look at the words, you understand the spirit of who's speaking. Because this is our lingo, it's our diction. When we talking about something, man, where you going? Man, get over here, right? No, the nations don't do that but us, right? That's our spirit that's in there. So here's your Yahushua. It ain't like he was like, oh, is that a woman or is that a man? Nah, that's just the way in which he talked. He even said that to the other disciples. Man, thy sins are forgiven thee, right? That's just the mannerisms of our lingo. So this kind of is another additive to prove who are these people. Who are the people from the New Testament to the Old Testament? So now you can link Luke 5:20 with Acts 5:31. Luke 5:20 with Acts 5:31.
We stayed in Luke, right?
Yep.
Luke 5:20.
Luke 5:20 with Acts 5:31. I'll read it. So it says in Acts 5:21, him have God exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. Man, thy sins are forgiven. The forgiveness of sins was meant only for Israel. And that's what Simon Peter, 31, Acts 5:31. That's what Simon Peter and the rest that were rolling with him understood. So now verse 21 back in Luke, the 5th chapter. It says, and the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, who is this who speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? Right? So now, remember, they were sitting alongside. They present watching what's going on. just waiting to hear his doctrine and his word and his teaching. So they're looking like, wait, did he just forgive this man's sins? Who has the power to, who can, now he's blaspheming because he's now taken upon the role of the Most High. He's now taken to himself the authority of the Most High. So that's why we read that in Acts 5:31, because the Most High set him up to give forgiveness of sins. Peter and the disciples recognized that about Yahushua being the high priest, right, and being the anointed one, that he's the one that is able to forgive sins, not under the orders, not under what the Levitical priesthood is, but Melchizedek, right? So I'm going to read 21 again. And the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason or think or ponder among themselves, saying, who is this which speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? But when Yahushua perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, what reason ye in your hearts? Right? So as he's now just healed this brother and forgiven him his sins, he sees what they're doing. He starts picking up. He's like, what's the problem? Is it a problem with me forgiving sins? What's going on here? Because he reasoned their thoughts. Yahushua had power to see in the minds of a brother to see if he was sincere what he's thinking about. Right. So he says, what reason ye in your hearts? Whether it's easier to say thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say rise up and walk. Which one is more difficult? Right? Is that what you're debating on? Because I just healed this man that none of y'all did. Right? And I'm doing it like effortlessly. Your sight is good. Your walk is good. He dead. He's up. He's alive. Like, he's doing all this stuff. Now, what's harder for me to say that your sin is forgiven or those things? So now you got to weigh it in the balance because he is doing things that has never been seen. You had little snippets here and there. Like we just read when you go back to Elijah with the woman who had the son. Her son died. And then the Most High had Elijah go and lay on him. And then what happened? He came back alive. Right? So it's not that people in the past hadn't been a part of something that was miraculous. It's that he's just doing it like bam, 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 bam. And then in the midst, dropping words, dropping edification and the truth. Right. So now it's something totally different. So now what's harder, you Pharisees and you scribes, for me to just say that this person is healed or to forgive sins? Verse 24. But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power upon earth to forgive sins. He said unto the sick of palsy, I say unto thee, arise and take up thy couch and go into thy house. Not just get up and walk, but pick your chair, your couch up and walk out of here. Right? Before he was being carried on it. Now he can carry it and himself up out of there. Right? I have power on earth to forgive sins. The sins are the things that now have been holding us back. Because we didn't have that true faith in the Most High Yahushua, we was following and doing other things. Now it's your faith that has now got ye whole. Like we read earlier, go and sin no more, lest a worse thing happen to you. That's the warning. Your faith is intact right now. Your faith is what made you whole. You have been pardoned from everything that was supposed to have happened to you moving forward. Now, go and make sure you don't do anything else to bring a worse judgment upon you. Verse 25. And immediately he rose up before them and took up that whereupon he lay and departed to his own house, glorifying Yahweh. Right? So he was probably going out there and telling all kind of things that just happened and making Yahushua's fame even more. And they were all amazed, and they glorified Yahweh and were filled with fear, saying, we have seen strange things today. Right? Today was a day like none other. Right? You'll never forget that day. I'm pretty sure a lot of them who was with him, man, to the day that they died in that generation, they had stories. They had stories. They probably had a lot of reflection going on about the things that Yahushua said and did, right? But it says these things, they've seen a lot of strange things. You could write down Matthews 9 and 8 to go with that. It kind of says the same thing. Matthews 9 and 8, that goes with verse 26. So Matthew 9 and 8 says, but when the multitude saw it, they marveled and glorified God, which had given such power unto men, right? So now they realized that Yahushua was doing all those things from the Most High. Whereas you had other times when people believed that Yahushua was doing it through Satan, right? They call him Beelzebub, right? Which was mainly the Pharisees and the chief priests and scribes. They thought that Yahushua had an evil spirit on him. And you have the others who recognize that the Most High was working with Yahushua. So hold that in Matthew's 9. We're going to come back to it in a minute. Let's go back to Luke 5 and 27. So Luke 5:27, it says, and after these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi, a lawyer, sitting at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me, right? So it says he sees a man that's a publican. What's a publican again?
Tax collector.
Tax collector, right? A publican is a tax collector. It says this guy's, right. And he's sitting at the receipt of customs where people come to pay their taxes. And it said his name was Levi. What's his other name? What's this person's other name? No, he has another name. Levi has another name. The same way you got Cephas for Simon Peter. Like he has two names. This person has another name. Levi has another name. Go to Matthews, back to Matthews 9. Go to Matthews 9 and 9 now. Matthews 9 and 9. So I said don't leave that 9th chapter.
Okay.
You got it? Zakar, you read that.
And as Jesus passed forth from church, he saw a man named Matthew. Sitting at the receipt of custom, and he said to him, follow me. He rose and followed him. Right. So this man Matthew is also known as Levi. This man Levi is also known as Matthew. Right? Okay. So he was a tax collector. Right. So now, yeah, Matthew was a tax collector. So now he was the one that was set up by the Romans to go and take the taxes from the people. Right. And most people didn't like publicans, right? But now he told Matthew to follow after him. So now here is a person who's a tax collector. That's his profession. But now drop Matthews 9, go back to Luke 5, and we're going to link up Luke 5 and 27 with Luke 3. And 12. Luke 3 and 12. Then came also the publican. You got it on the top?
Yeah.
Then came also the publicans to be baptized and said to him, Master, what shall we do?
So this is publicans plural. So there's a lot of tax collectors that's now coming to Yahushua, right, wanting to be baptized. What shall we do? Right? They were looked at as the evil ones. You're going to do that to your own people, right? But this is something that was set up by the Romans anyway. Regardless, we're going to have to pay it, right? But read on.
And he said to them,
exact. Exact, yeah.
Exact, no more than that which is appointed you.
Which means what?
Don't cheat the people.
Don't cheat the people. If they told you to go and collect 4%, you collect 4%.
Right.
That's why Yahushua said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, right? We have to pay tribute. So anything outside of the tribute, you don't try to collect for yourself.
Right.
Only take what is appointed you. So that was their job, the publicans. Now, for him to say that means what? You had a lot of publicans who was cheating the system.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Excess.
Yeah, they was cheating the system.
Right.
I watched one time on one of the court shows, and this brother went to a sister to do his taxes.
Right.
Right? So she went and did the taxes. Of course, when you go to your tax preparer, they got all your information, your social security, address, where you work, they got all that information.
Right.
She went and set up another bank account, right, in his name that she had access to,
Right.
and had money deposited, his tax money deposited into that account that had her and his name on it, and she withdrew the money for her own personal self. Right? Now, of course, he don't know what the heck is going on at the time, right? Because only thing he know about is what's being shown to him.
Right.
You got people who can take advantage of you and or the system for their own benefit.
Right.
So now, because you have that position of authority, Yahushua is warning them. You want to be baptized, you got to get yourself straight. I know you're a publican, the tax collector. Don't take what's more than what you need to take from.
Right.
Right? Don't do that. Only do what you are need or charged to do.
Right.
And then come and do the things that the Most High wants you to do.
Right.
Sometimes, these tax preparers,
Collectors.
they would like lend out money, give you loans before you get your taxes.
Right.
So they make money from that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Loan.
And they charge a lot of interest for that.
Yep.
So when they get your money, they take it out and they give you what's left.
Right.
And people are happy for that because they get the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're anxious. They don't want to wait.
They don't know what it is.
That's like when you go to do your, because they set it up like if you're a tax preparer and I do your taxes and I say, look, you're supposed to get back $2,000.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And you're like, $2,000? Where? When am I going to get it? It might come by, I think, by middle April.
Right.
Middle of April. But I can give you $2,000 right now. You just got to pay the interest on it, right?
Right.
I give you that check right now. All right, but I'm gonna deduct it from your $2,000. All right, how much is that? You was getting $2,000 with my fees and the interest, and I give you $1,654. Right now, I give you $1,654. Out of $2,000, oh, I gotta wait till April? No, I need that money right now. I got things to do. I'm gonna take it.
Man.
I'm gonna take it. Like, all right, cool. Right? And they fine giving you the $1,654 because they know they're gonna get the $2,000 because they're able to wait in a month and a half.
Right. Get that $2,000.
Yeah.
And they do it to Jake all the time.
Yeah. That's how they're looking to make money. Outside of their fees, it's an extra added incentive to make money. Yep.
If you agree to it.
If you agree to it, yeah, that's fine. In that case, if you agree, yeah. If you know ahead of time what you're getting into and you agree to it, because now that's something that now has been showed out to you and you can take it or leave it. If you say, cool, there's no problem with that.
Right.
There's no harm in that. It's the harm in when people do things and it's not being disclosed.
Right.
Right? So it's like, I'm going to do your taxes and I prepare and I say, yeah, you're supposed to get about $5,000 back. Right? And you're like, $5,000. Now hold on, but it's like $5,000 back, right? But I know that there's some other things that I can do
For you right now.
to get you $6,000 back.
Right.
But I ain't gonna tell you about the extra $1,000. I'll just tell you about the $5,000. You happy with the $5,000? I'm happy with the $5,000. All right, cool. Right? Or I'm gonna add some other added padded and fees on there that don't really need to be there. That's the biggest crime is fees that you don't know. You can look at your phone bill and you see about 8 fees on there and you're like, what the heck is this? One for $1 something, another for $3.20 something. Sometimes it's so minuscule you really don't even care. You're like, what the heck? $4.18. Heck, it's $4. My bill is $138, but I see a bill of fee of $4.18. And they got some weird name by it. I'm like, what the heck is that? Now you're thinking in your mind, do I call them about this $4.18? And right? So that's where they get you, because certain things seem to be insignificant. You ain't gonna care about it. Right? So then I'm gonna read one more. It says, and the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, and what shall we do? So these are like soldiers, military, cops, law enforcement that's set up by them, who are right now also looked at as being evil, wicked, right? Most people don't like them right now. They didn't like them back then. It says, and he said unto them, do violence to no man. Do violence to now you start seeing videos of police authorities and people and soldiers doing all kind of violence to people without cause. You're like, yo, why you had to punch him? Why you had to throw him on the ground like that? That was uncalled for. That was unnecessary. Right? It says, right. It says, neither accuse any falsely. So now here it is. You got somebody who did something wrong that's on the shield, and they wrong, but you go blame somebody else for it. You've accused someone else falsely because of your position. Christ said, don't do that. It says, and be content with your wages. Right? Now, here you go do a bust. You go do a bust, a drug bust, and now you run in the room and it's all kind of drug money in there. And you're like, yo, this is my opportunity to come up. I'm gonna start stashing all this money. They don't know. I'm gonna stash all this money and use it for my, nah. Christ said, don't do that. Be content with your labors, the wages of your labor. This is how you begin to baptize or cleanse yourself. Like the Most High says in the, what is it?
That's what pat my pocket. That's what pay my.
That's what you see in a lot of these movies and these cops. They're going out there stealing and taking all kind of money. Right. So that's kind of that lifestyle.
Well, see, they develop themselves into that lifestyle. They start off being good, and then something treads in their mind. Right,
but that's why it says the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. So they get caught up into that lifestyle, and they start doing it themselves.
They said this is normal. We do it all the time, man. You know somebody's money too? There's a room full of money.
You go into the force and then you start seeing everybody else doing it. You start questioning like, yo, what's going on?
Like a drug bust.
Everybody looking at you like, listen.
You don't know.
Are you what's going on here? Yeah, we're gonna have to put him in another unit or get him out of here, get him a desk job or something. Like he ain't going out with it. Like, exactly. Set him up. Exactly.
We do this all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, remember how all had on the crack that time? Lieutenant, sergeant, all of them.
Right. What? All of them guys?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them got caught doing drug ones.
You see, I told you about. I think it was last week. It's still going on. It was what is it? A sergeant or whatever within the unit. He told his force to go and shoot 50 Cent on sight, right? And then some of the cops is in the unit spilled the beans, and he found out about it. So now almost every day, that's all he tweets about this guy. They just had a whole what do they call it when the cops go out there and speak in front of the media or whatever. Like they had a press conference for them to come out, for certain ones to come out and advocate and say, no, he didn't go out. He didn't want us to go shoot him, right? He wanted to go shoot him. We're trying to defend him. It's like, nah, your own police force is the one that spilled the beans. They're the honest ones, right? They kept this law, do violence to no man. He ain't done nothing. You may not like him, but then you're going to give out the call and say, yeah, if you ever see him, shoot him on sight, right? So now when you start seeing people and you watch like, yo, how he shooting them? The dude ain't do nothing. You can do it on sight.
Remember Prodigy made a video? They said he wanted to set up the thing.
Yeah. They came to him.
Huh?
Yeah, the cops came to him.
Yeah, and they asked him all kind of questions. They want to come to him, constantly coming to him, just set him up.
Yeah. He got one rapper who was working at the time. He was working on 50 Cent's label. He got arrested, and when he got arrested, they brought him in to now interrogate him. But when they interrogated him, it wasn't interrogating about him. They was interrogating about 50. They wanted to know everything about him and then have him work with them to bring him down.
Right.
So he was playing it off. He was playing it off like he was going to roll with it to try to get more information out of them for what they wanted to do. And then at the end, he was like, man, I ain't flipping on my man. And then he went and told them.
Right.
Everything that they tried to do, he went and told them.
Right.
So did he get the cops?
Who?
Like get them fired?
No. What are you going to do? No, what are you going to do?
Walk the street, man.
Yeah, what are you going to do? He's going to go out there and tell, and they're going to say what? Yeah, that's a lie. We ain't never say none of that. Right? They just going to. That's why it talks about and accuse no one falsely. Right? That's why Christ said that, accuse no one falsely. Because now what happens is that checks your spirit. So now if something happens and it comes out and it says, well, did you ever hear anybody say such and such about doing this? Nah. So is he lying?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lying. Right? Now you falsely accusing him and you know that he's telling the truth. Right? Now that puts the spirit back, the check back on you or the individual that's saying that.
Yeah, again, you see the interview with Nathaniel when Esau came to him and asked him like, how many members you have?
Yeah, I watched the whole video. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
he's like, why? And he's like, yeah. He's like, no, you can tell me. You can tell me.
yeah,
his whole mannerism was kind of weird to me anyway. Like the way he was looking up in the air, and he's like, oh, okay. It was just weird, but
not even hearing any scripture. He just want to know.
Yeah, he just
and that what Marsha said.
he had an agenda. So the other camp, IUIC, he has a video where a reporter is allowed into their school and to interview them for like an hour and a half. I said interviewed the head brother, the bishop in their church. And they had about an hour and a half. The video was about an hour and a half, but it was about maybe 50 minutes worth of real content because he just had a lot of space and when he was asking the questions. But he was just trying to find out a lot of information about the inner workings of their school, the inner workings of all the camps, right? And how things work. And then also trying to divide because he tried to ask certain questions with the presumption of saying that I'm not really doing this, but that's exactly what he was doing. He was trying to cause a division amongst the brotherhood by talking about how this person teaches. Okay, what do you think about that and everything else? So it was an interesting interview. But the brother was on point in that interview of how he handled himself.
Since you brought that up, you know the guy's wearing the purple outfit?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, because him done left the group. You know him? The main dark skin brother with the beard and everything?
Which it's a couple brothers dark skin with the beard.
What's your class over with?
All right.
I was watching that on there too.
You watching?
Yeah, this guy here. He's
all right,
signs and everything.
Let's where'd I leave off at?
27.
Yeah,
27 and 28.
Yeah, 27.
Okay.
All right, so back in 27. After these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of custom, and he said unto him, follow me. And he left all, rose up, and followed him. Right? So he did just like Simon and the rest. They were fishermen, he was a tax collector. And he was going to be made a fisher of men as well. And Levi made him a great feast in his own house. And there was a great company of publicans and of others that sat down with him. Of course, that would be his, right? Those who associated with a whole bunch of more publicans, right? Yeah. And then there was others as well. But their scribes and Pharisees murmured against his disciples, saying, why do you eat and drink with publicans and sinners, right? So they're looking at the individual and the reputation that precedes them and seeing Yahushua, who's supposed to be the anointed one, accompanying in the midst of sinners, right? So that's kind of where you reading they're looking at, what is it, Amos 3? Can two walk together lest they be agreed? How are you the anointed when in your company, your whole association is with sinners, right? But they're not looking at Yahushua is not like them, right? That's like when the woman who had the issue, when it touched Yahushua and virtue went out. Now, if this was a regular old person, she would have made Yahushua unclean. Right? Yahushua should be unclean because of her. But that's not went out. Virtue went out of Yahushua to make her clean. So Yahushua is not there to be made unclean of. He's there to cleanse everybody else. So, of course, it makes sense for him to be in the midst of those that need healing and cleansing and help. Right? That's what they didn't understand. So I'm going to read verse 30 again. But their scribes and Pharisees murmured against his disciples, saying, why do you eat and drink with publicans and sinners? And Yahushua answering said unto them, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Right? So you're not going to go into a room full of people who well and say, hey, I'm the doctor, I'm here to cure you. They're going to look at you and say, I ain't call you, I don't need you, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? But when you go into the wellness center, you're going to have a full lot of people in there that all have different kinds of issues. Each and every one of them is going to be needing your attention. So this is what Yahushua is alluding to. Verse 33, and they said unto him, why do the disciples of John fast often and make prayers? And likewise the disciples of the Pharisees, but thine eat and drink. Right? So here comes them. The next question with the scribes and Pharisees, like, we see John's disciples, or those who are following after John, and the Pharisees, they always fasting and praying. But the ones who follow you, they just eating and drinking and everything's cool. What's up with that? What's up with that? That don't make no sense, right? Again, they don't understand who Yahushua is. If Yahushua is next, the one who's next to the Most High, first creature that was created. Right. The way in which we get to the Most High now is through Yahushua, right? And through his name. So what better person I'm going to be with if he drinking and eating, I'm going to eat and drink. What the heck is he? He right here, right? But they, again, because of their unbelief, they don't see the presence and the glory that Yahushua has on them. Verse 33, and they said unto him, verse 34, and he said unto them, can ye make the children of the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them? Right? So he's there. Everything is great. It's fine now while he's there. They're not going to fast while he's with them. But 35 says, but the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them. And then shall they fast in those days. So after Yahushua then leaves, right? He's crucified and he's taken up. And now we're without Christ. And then the days follow after them when we're going through a lot of various different types of captivities. Now we're lost of identity and everything else. That's when you're going to be fasting and praying for ministering angels to come up unto you. You're going to be praying for Yahushua's guidance, protection, all of these things that we had when he was with him. Right? Seeing to get the dude, Peter sliced off the doggone dude's ear and Yahushua put it back. So now if I'm seeing this, I'm like, man, we good. I'm good. If a bullet came into me, Yahushua standing there, he can take the bullet out of me, man. Right. I got the faith that, hey, whatever happened while I'm rolling with Yahushua, I'm good.
I see you walking in the water.
And I see Yahushua walk on water. The evil spirits is afraid of him. People dead coming back to life because of him. Why am I fasting right now? I'm with him. Anything he want me to do, I'm gonna do.
That's what I love the brother said. When I want to be with him.
Yeah. That's why as we was reading, the house was so packed, people couldn't get in. Everywhere you go was a big crowd of people just rolling with him. Right? Sometimes he just had to leave just to get some space, right?
I think the chief priests and the scribes and the Pharisees, jealous.
Yeah.
Instead of going to them,
they became envious. Right? That's when it became envious. Because
I would think even the Romans are like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
This multitude, this congregation of people.
Yep.
Just following him like that,
Yep.
And even they thinking when John the Baptist was out in the out there in the wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
And it upset the normal thing that what the Romans do with all this congregation of people.
Right.
What they're doing,
Right. Now, as you go back to that 33rd verse, when it talks about the disciples of John, right? One would think that all of the disciples of John were followers of Yahushua. No, it didn't happen all instantaneous, right? You had some that were still just followers of John. They still didn't have the full belief in Yahushua yet. Same thing in the book of Acts. You had some that were then taught by disciples of Yahushua and furthered on in their teaching. Not to say that the disciples of John were off. They just didn't have the Yahushua yet.
Oh, yeah. He just already did, right?
Right. They just didn't. Exactly. They just didn't have Yahushua yet. They had everything that John brought, but John already had forewarned them that said there was one that was going to come after me. They just hadn't been privy to Yahushua yet to have that belief. So that's what says that there. So don't think that those disciples were just off or wicked or evil because they were fasting. No, they just had not met Yahushua or had the confirmation of Yahushua in them. Verse 36, and he spake also a parable unto them. No man putteth a piece of a new garment upon an old. If otherwise, then both the new maketh the rent, and the piece that was taken out of the new agreeth not with the old, right? So when you got like an old sweater or garment or something like that, and it has a rep, if you go and you put a new piece of material on it, right? Now what happens is sometimes when you have old clothes, it's gone through the wringer, right? Then you put a new patch on there, it hasn't gone through the wringer. So now when you wash it, the thing that stretches against the thing that don't stretch is going to do what? Rip and tear, right? So that's not a wise thing to do. So Yahushua again is bringing a parable about something more spiritual. It says in the next one, and no man putteth new wine in old bottles, right? Back then it wasn't bottles, it was called wine skins. They had like pouches that you put the wine in, right? You know, sometimes you see people drinking out of like a pouch, like or they had a water thing. That's what they had. Some Bibles will say wine skins. This one don't, but my other ones do. It'll say like wine skins because it was flexible when you could put it in there. So again, it says, and no man put a new wine into old bottles, because if it's an old pouch, it's an old wine skin, it's gone through its all stretching. So now you put a new wine in there. The new wine over time is going to do what? Expand. It's going to breathe. It has to breathe. Now, if it can't breathe, what it's going to do? It's going to bust the wine skin. It's going to break it, right? Whole list, go to Job. Job 32. J-O-B. Like you on your J-O-B. So 32nd chapter, 16th verse. So Job 32:16. So when you go through this chapter, everybody was given their assessment about Job, right? It was three men. They were given their assessment about Job and what he was going through and the reason why he was going through it. And then you had the young brother that was there listening to everything. That's what we're picking up at. Verse 16, it says, when I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still and answered no more. So he was waiting for everybody to finish what they had to say. I said, I will answer also my part. I also will show mine opinion. For I am full of matter. The spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my belly is as wine which have no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles. I will speak that I may be refreshed and open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's persons, neither let me give flattering titles unto man. So it's going to, he don't care who they were. He got to get this out, right? So his belly was like wine and it had no vent. So that's why wine has, it needs to have a vent or else it's going to break the bottle. right? So this is the same thing that Christ is alluding to when we're reading this parable. Now, what is it relating to? Because wine, when you read the scriptures, is as thoughts, it's as the spirit, it's as doctrine that now a person has to receive. You don't want to start receiving this and still have that old man. It ain't going to work, right? You got to become a new man with this new wine, right? It can't be the new man, the old man with the new wine, right? Or the new wine with the old man. They don't work together. You got to change that dynamic. That's why it says in Corinthians that you got to become new creatures with this. Cast aside all that old stuff and then now receive the new wine and be a new script, a new creature, or a new bottle in this sense. Go to Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4 and 14. 4 and 14. Everybody got it? So it says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence, right? So this is the old wine that we all have had, different forms of this type of wine, whether it's violence, whether it's deceit, whether it's treachery, fornication, that type wine, we don't want that wine no more. Pour that out with the bottle. Now you're going to get new wine, get a new bottle, right? So that it can be received with this and operate accordingly. Or else you be in here saying, yeah, I'm following, I hear it, but then you leave and then you go do something contrary. Like what we just reading here, and then it don't work. It's going to get spilled. It's going to burst. So that was Proverbs 17. I stopped at, Proverbs 4, 14 to 17. So now go to 1 Peter 2. First Peter 2 and 1. First Peter 2 and 1, it says, wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings. This is what we've had within our life. This is the spirit that we walked in. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word that ye may grow thereby. Why does it say that? Because most of us are already adults that have had these different type spirits in us. But now the new thing is you got to be born again, right? You got to change your way all over, start from a little infant again, right? And then be able to receive the sincere milk of the word. You got to be a new bottle and then receive the new wine. You got to cast all of this other stuff out. Right? The spirit, the word, the Bible has been made into water. It's been made into milk. It's been made into wine. Right? That's how you go. But you got to change your whole footprint in order to receive it. That's what the scriptures are showing us. All right, let's go back. Luke 5. So now we have verse 8.
38.
Yeah, 38. What did I say? 8. 38. It said, but new wine must be put into new bottles, and both are preserved. Right? So again, it just echoes the same sentiments that we were just talking about. No man also having drunk old wine straightway desireth new, but he saith the old is better. Right? So a person who's been living off of that old way, continuously drinking it, now here comes some new wine. Man, what is? Nah, I don't want that. This is better for me, right? That's why it's usually a challenge to deal with people who are stuck in their way, because they don't see anything. They don't need nothing else. This is good for me. What are you coming with some new wine? This new, nah, this is good. Whereas you have others who have been wandering, who went there and said, nah, this ain't it. Who went over here and said, nah, this ain't it. I tried that, wasn't good. It didn't taste good. I went over here, this thing tastes good, right? Until you now find and you come up on this, you're like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been needing. I tried that, then tried nothing. This is it. But someone who's straightway been drinking off that old wine consistently, day in and day out, year by year, it's hard for them to come out. And especially if they don't take off that old man, they're not going to want to see anything new. Right? Ripple.
You love that Ripple.
What was Ripple?
That was the wine that he drank.
That was wine. Ripple was wine.
That's the wine that he drank.
Oh yeah, because I didn't know if it was strong drink or what. I never looked it up. Huh?
It probably like 5 Irish Rose today.
Yeah, probably.
Some cheap color wine that he drank.
Right.
Back in that time.
You always talk to Ripple.
I asked my grandma, she said, I don't know. Ripple is.
Yeah, I think that's something like that.
They made up.
Ripple. It's just like you would call a mad dog a wine and rose today. Somebody try to keep down very out.
Yeah,
What happened was when they made when he put that thing out, when he put that out, Ripple, they had it perform.
They branded it. Yeah.
They put a brand on it.
They might have. That Ripple was up.
Yeah, because I think it was wine. Yeah, it was wine.
Oh, you Google Ripple?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was real.
It was.
Yeah, it was
They made money
from the it said from the back in the 70s. That was the popular thing in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ripple wine.
They had a song out on it too. Get that Ripple wine.
Oh, yeah.
They had a song on it.
See?
Oh.
Everybody Google.
Wow.
All right, so that concludes today's Sabbath service lesson. Next week, we'll be in Aquaf Khadijah's favorite book, Tobit. We'll be in the 3rd and 4th chapters. Also, remember, next week is a new moon, Tuesday night.
Right.
Make sure it is. I think it's Tuesday. Let me make sure.
New moon.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yes, Tuesday night, sundown. Who? You. Tobit.
You gonna do it. Now y'all coming in.
Oh, you're gonna love this 2 chapters. This is on point.
Now y'all
You, especially the 4th chapter. Yeah, you're gonna love that. Well, I know how your spirit is. So we want to say a Shah Shabbat, happy Sabbath, the remaining Sabbath. Most High's will, everybody was filled with the Spirit, edified, enjoyed the class. Going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High in Christ for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, for the privilege to be within his grace, within his truth. And we pray that the Lord will continue to forgive us, watch over us, uplift us, heal us, and also exhort the body to come together as often as we should. So with that, I'm going to say peace to all Israel. Stay tuned for the closing prayers, and again, Shalom and the Shah Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Somebody get the blinds. Baba Kusha.
Daddy love.
Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Asherah, Nathalanawa, Par Yahagabin, Thawada Aman. La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Ath Yasha Allah. I model upon your Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem, or Jerusalem. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kushah, Shammai, Lanawa, Aitha, Yum Yun, Aitha, Shalat, Mayaka Allah, Waha Allahayim, Tazwadakim, La, Shema Ayah, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Waha Kazayat, Banya, Yasha Allah, Washalat, Lanawa, Rabium, Kakama, Rabium, Ta'ai, Rabium, Bayana, Rabium, Sabalanwa, Rabium, Amawan, Rabium, Aqua, Rabium, Ahabium, Rabium, Agana, Rakhanaya, Wasalat, Kal, Kata Ayamnawa, Laha Akim, Wa Akiwa, Wayasha Allah, Thum Yad, Wa Iwalam, Bahasham, Yahawashai, so Wada, Aman. English translation. Most High, in the name of Christ, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous powers and angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. And send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection. And forgive all our sins for the brothers in Israel, always and forever. In the name of Christ, thank you, so be it. Four corners prayer. Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Nawa, Wayasha Allah, Wabat Yasaparim, Shema, Yasharella, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, all right, English translation. Most High, in the name of Christ, bless us in Israel in the house of books or schools. And Deuteronomy 6:4, hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one power. All right, again, say Shah Shabbat for the remaining of the day. Shalom, Yasha Allah. Most High's will, everybody has a Tawab in upcoming week.